Shadu an, say Shadu an, say la ilaha, ilaha, illallah, illallah. Ashadu, say Ashadu, anna, Muhammadan, abduhu, say abduhu, wa rasuluhu,
I been official, big dog in the yard, voting more likely to murder every birthday I start.
Peace, it's the bearded Heru and everything is real. Let's build. I'm live from Homeland Village with my brother Bilal, and today we're gonna talk about the Shahada.
What is the Shahada to become a Muslim? The first question is actually the answer to the second question. What is the Shahada and what does it take to become a Muslim? What does it take to become a Muslim? It takes for this person to testify, to bear witness, to give that Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. On the outside layer or the mandala, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the messenger of Allah. I'll even dive a little bit deeper into that, but in order for one to become a Muslim, they themselves have to have that in their heart that they want to do this, to take this step. Finding a local mosque, talking to the imam, learning a little bit more about the religion and the faith, and finally getting to that point to where you ask them, Imam, like, what does it take for me to become a Muslim? The imam face gonna light up. Got another one. And they gonna explain it to you. You give the Shahada, but you do it in front of another Muslim or another couple of Muslims that can witness you doing that to go ahead and bring you in, like accepting that. So you do like I did, just show up to the mosque, and I wound up praying before I took the Shahada, which they told me I shouldn't have done, but got in front of the mosque. The imam was standing right beside me, and he kind of walked me through it. Say Ashhadu an, say la ilaha, illallah. Ashadu, say Ashadu, anna, Muhammadan, abduhu, say abduhu, wa rasuluhu. And he gets me to say the whole sentence, Ashadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Get me the English translation. And I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And one final question, so brother, are you ready to give your Shahada? Like, I walked you through how to say it, how to pronounce it, what it means. You came here, so now you give this testimony, you bear witness. So Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Boom, end of the recording. What is the Shahada? What does it take to become a Muslim? right there in a nutshell.
Another question for you, my brother, on taking the Shahada. You coming from a different spiritual background, right? You coming from the church, right? Before you took your Shahada, was it anything, did you have to let go of Christianity? Was it like a process you had to go through? Or did you even study what Islam really was before you took that Shahada?
So coming from the church, goodness, Southern Baptist Church, kind of going gray for a while and then bumping into Islam. How was that transition? Like, what did I have to let go of? I thought I was gonna have to let go of a whole lot, but I actually didn't. After reading and studying the Quran and understanding the teachings, there was one thing though. Allahu Akbar. And in that process, if you do close your eyes, I couldn't get that I couldn't get Caesar Borgia out of my head, man. I couldn't get Caesar Borgia out of my head. So after 20-something years of going through that process in the church, going to these buildings, seeing paintings of this particular person, it took me a minute to actually get that image out of my head at a point in time when in the middle of Salat, it's supposed to be me and Allah. No idols, no images, none but me and him at that point. But what was in my way? Pale face, pasty, blonde hair, blue-eyed, buttermilk complexion, like Dr. Khaled Muhammad described. Astaghfirullah. I couldn't get that image out of my head. But slowly but surely, through the grace of Allah and through the practices, through staying strong throughout it, slowly but surely it was able to become a kind of like a moment of Zen, a inner moment where it's just me reciting certain verses of the Quran that are essentially a conversation between me and Allah. And when you have that inner realization, man, you can't think of anything else at that point. It's you and Allah. What else is there at that point to think about, process, or try to visualize when it's nothing but you and Allah at that particular moment? So imagery had to go. I won't say had to go, but it had to be looked at in a different way. That's a whole lot deeper, but it's not taking it just at surface level. This person was from here. This person looked like this. This person was from this race. This person was from this tribe. I won't say forget all of that, because that gives some folks energy to have a profit from their people. But what did that person from whoever them people is bring? Is it truthful? Is it applicable? Can people in an entire community practice this stuff, and then in 5 years in the future we can see positive change? What about that? That much I did learn from Islam. When I realized how strong that was, I noticed that the same thing existed in the Bible teachings that I had before. I started to put the two side by side on my altar right now. The Quran is right here and the Bible is right here. Open to, each, prospective verse, a favorite verse out of either of the two that I might say a couple times throughout the day. Keep the bees moving. Quotes Sheikh Sufi. When you realize that the stories are the same, they're just written a little different. If you read the biblical history versus the Quranic history, from that level, it makes sense, as long as you don't put the chronological beside it. And when you understand what this prophet and that prophet brought, you see that it's just that. It's truthful, it's applicable, it's spiritual. You can feel it's something in it that could more than likely be from God. You can't really describe that 100%, but at that point, when you have that additional realization, would you leave that alone? Just because that feeling came from another religion you left beforehand? If it's gonna make me a stronger Muslim, then yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that too. What they say, the baby in the bad water, throw both of them out? Nah, that's child abuse, man. Trying to lock my trying to lock me up, man. Islam means peace. Submission to the will of the Most High. If Allah sent the prophet down with something that gives the person peace when they adhere to it, then is that not Islam? Sorry if this one ruffles some feathers, but based on that, what Islam means, not a religious definition you might get from inside of the building, but meaning peace, meaning submission to the will of Allah, the will of the Most High, teaching pure oneness, Tawheed, monotheism, that can only be one God. La ilaha illallah. It's the first half of the Shahada. If there were two gods, then both of them would have ran off with what both of them created. Or either both of them would have destroyed each other. Creation. So God itself is so vast, we can't confidently divide it into three or to two at all. Because if it would have been either of those, then nothing else that we see and experience right now would be and exist. La ilaha illallah. That train of thought, that thought process that comes along with adhering to those teachings, adhering to the revelation, what the prophets brought, the insight, the intuition, the heightened knowledge, all of the inner dimensions and heightened spiritual senses that the person can get, that seemingly comes from the unseen, It comes from the unseen. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. There is no God but Allah. And that which you just received was brought to you by a divine messenger that had a message that Allah had that needed to make it down to you. Islam is peace. Islam is submission to that.
What happens 5 minutes after you took your Shahada? Like, was it a feeling change? Did you know you have to adhere to a new culture? Was it like tell me exactly what happened 5 minutes after you took your Shahada.
5 minutes after I took the Shahada, I think we were still congregating, shaking hands and exchanging hugs and embraces with everybody after getting brought in, because what started off as like 6 or 7 people, by the time we got done, it was like a mosque full of like 30 people or so. So it was a pretty nice experience coming in to see that type of brotherhood, boom, off muscle. All I had to get up there is I won't say it like that, I just had to get up there and say this, but there's a connection there that sparked, and you can feel that connection. So as soon as that Shahada is uttered, and from your heart you know that this is who you are, who you want to be, how you want to be and live, you have to now keep that intention. It takes discipline to carry that throughout the next Lord knows how many days, based on how long Allah gave you an appointed term for. So 5 minutes after that happened, I already knew when I went back home that was going to have to be some changes. Some things in the refrigerator had to get thrown away. Astaghfirullah. Lord, the bacon. The diet, outlook, the way of life had to wind up changing. There are certain things you have to do and carry with you after that initial Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. There's stuff that comes with that. Nothing happens except but for the will of Allah. Now, knowing that in the Quran, I can't or shouldn't run around feeling bad, mad, sad, angry because X, Y, Z seemingly happened to me. Now, whatever happened to me was already written by Allah. It was already written. It was meant to happen. What I'm not supposed to be doing is trying to feel sad, mad, bad, angry about this occurrence that just happened to me. What I should be doing is trying to figure out what lesson did Allah hide in the middle of that? What lesson did Allah hide in the middle of that test and trial that I'm supposed to use to make myself a better Muslim? Islam is so vast that, man, we'll be sitting out here explaining it till the sun go down and then the moon come back up. And it do that a couple of more times. We'll be out here till Ramadan. Be out here till Ramadan. There's so many levels, but to round it all together, like initially, La ilaha illallah is that Shahada. That's what one says from the heart to become a Muslim. There's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Sufis say, Astaghfirullah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Or just that first part, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Bear witness that there is no existence but this divine reality. Esoterically, this is what La ilaha illallah means. All of that is a creation of Allah. So anything that happens within the creation of Allah, you look at it in a different light now after becoming a Muslim and bearing witness to that as a whole. It changes you as a person, because I can look back at that Facebook memory scroll that show you stuff from like 7, 8, 9 years or so ago. Man, I just deleted some stuff from 10 years ago because I don't want to see drunk me online no more. Plastered at the bowling alley. I don't want to see images of myself doing them things that I was doing back then, because whoever that person was is dead. He ain't coming back no more. That person didn't benefit me at all. That person didn't help me to advance nor move forward. But the person I am today, everything might not be perfect, when I'm working towards that through the practices and teachings that I learned through Islam, subsequently Sufism, and what did it take from my heart to say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. bear witness and testify and mean that. Make no distinction between the prophets. Again, Bible and the Quran side by side. The Bhagavad Gita is on the bookshelf along beside some Buddhist books. I won't say that it doesn't matter, but again, like it was said in the previous video, if Allah sends a message to a prophet and that prophet comes to the people with that message and tells them that this is why you need to use it and gives them an example in real life, in real time, as to how and why, and then something happens to test that, and the people that do it become successful and the people that don't become successful, that prophet came with something applicable. That book that we have nowadays has something applicable in it. You just gotta look a little deeper in it. Allah ain't in the black letters on the white pages. Allah is in between the black letters on the white pages. Chew on that little nugget. Stop.
Fire! And this is for any new converts to Islam or any of the young people who studying and finding a new school of thought or a new culture or a new way of living. My brother, when you decided and you took your Shahada and you decided that you are a Muslim man, was it any fear? Did you have any fear or anxiety about that?
I don't know, personally coming in, and I can only speak for me, but yeah, learning everything initially was a lot to take in, because remember, the corpus of knowledge that comes through Islam and Sufism is huge. You got to get in the boat before you get in before you get into that knowledge. So initially, I don't know how I never got pulled over going to the mosque sometimes, because I would be speeding to try to make it there on time, because I didn't know the common etiquette about just casually making your way to the mosque. You shouldn't rush, you shouldn't run or hurry. The mosque's still gonna be there, inshallah, when you get there. And when you get there, you can still make your prayer. Granted, you might be a rak'ah or a section of prayer behind everybody else, but you still get to do it if Allah wills it. So why rush to the place at all? So there were certain innate fears, I guess the ego kind of put here, that really don't exist within Islam at all. But for any new people, any new reverts, you don't say converts, you revert, you go back to your old way, you don't turn to something else. Islam is old as the sun, moon, and the stars. We can't get into that knowledge, but you revert back to it. So when you go back to that way of life, and now you in a brother and sisterhood of a lot of people that have done that too, that are also in that same way of living and being, if you got any questions, I guarantee you, as soon as you get finished taking your Shahada, after them first 5 minutes are up, you're going to leave with about 10, 15 new phone numbers in your phone, man. If you got any questions, call me, brother. I'll help you with this and here. If you need to learn Arabic, call me, brother. I'm a Hafiz of Quran. I can help you understand the letters and the words. Or if you need to learn how to speak it or learn how to say the Adhan, or if you need anything, there's somebody in there that's going to exchange info with you to personally reach out to help you with it. So you won't be going on the journey alone at all. All it takes is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, from the heart though. You can't just say it with this thing, because this thing's a trickster. There got to be a connection between that one, and that one. And when that Shahada comes out from there, after that first 5 minutes is up, after those first few initial fears are over, and you look back and you get to see how beautiful Islam is, how beautiful this way of life is that you're coming into and continuing with, you realize that you should have took Shahada a little earlier. Real talk, I wish I would have took Shahada at 21. 21. Right then and there.
Once again, it's the bearded Heru, reporting live from Macon, Georgia with my brother Bilal. And like I said, I wanted to do just a small little piece on taking the Shahada, to new people, to Islam, and just to give a brief education on what actually happens when you're taking the Shahada. Hey, I appreciate you, Wilson, my brother, and peace and blessings and love and light on your journey, my brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Peace.
I been official, big dog in the yard, voting most likely to murder every birthday I start.